those of you that have joined with me before to vote for open carry, let's get it across the goal line. Vote open carry, send it to the governor. Move passage.
And send it to the governor they did. Lawmakers in both chambers passed House Bill 910, the so-called open carry legislation. The law would allow license holders to carry handguns openly in a hip or shoulder holster. Right now, the law requires that those weapons be concealed. This is, of course, pending the governor's signature, which is expected. In fact, just minutes after the final vote in the Senate, Greg Abbott tweeted, "Open carry just passed in both the Texas House and Senate. Next destination, my pen." Hashtag TextLedge, hashtag TCOT, which is top conservatives on Twitter. Then he tagged the NRA. We are here with Walker County Sheriff Clint McRae. Sheriff, thank you so much for being here with us. It's been a busy few days of weather, few weeks, certainly, I guess we should say. So we appreciate you taking the time. Sheriff, this open carry legislation looks like it's going to pass. And so to start off, just what's your first impression? What do you think this is going to mean for law enforcement enforcing the law?
Right. Well, first I'd like to say is that I most certainly have supported the concealed carry and the constitutional rights that have been set forth by our forefathers to the citizens of this great country. I feel like that this is another step that is going to require some acclimation, going to require getting used to. I think there's going to be some additional training and stuff as well that will be required.
Well, what is your biggest concern if Texans are allowed to open carry, which it looks like they're going to be able to? Do you have any concerns?
You know, my biggest concerns is we have many people that qualify to have the concealed carry license as it is. And so I know that that's going to continue to occur. One of the biggest things, I guess, that is of concern to me is that you take a situation such as the Luby's Cafeteria shooting that occurred some years back. When law enforcement arrives, one of the first things you do to identify a suspect in that type of situation is you look for the man with a gun. A lot of times you arrive with minimal information, so law enforcement have to gather intel and work off of what they observe once they arrive. One of the problems, or one of the things of concern is that when you drop a call of that magnitude, you have undercover officers, you have investigators that are also arriving on those type of scenes that are unmarked units, that are plainclothes officers. And so one of my concerns would be is in that type of situation is friendly fire. When you have an officer that arrives on scene, does not necessarily look like a police officer, very well is supporting a badge. You have victims that are held inside of the building, hypothetically speaking. I don't want to see any friendly fire, whether it be from a law enforcement perspective on to citizens or vice versa. That would be a concern, and that'll require some additional training and for us to get more acclimated to it.
Sure, certainly a law enforcement perspective that maybe as civilians wouldn't necessarily think of, but you do mention that there is perhaps extra training that could come along with it. It's just a matter of acclimation.
That is correct. Sure. Actually, the course, one of the first courses that I'm already set up to attend is during this year's annual Sheriff's Conference.
Okay, so this has been addressed. You as a group of law enforcement is really looking into this. But for us civilians, Texas is pretty open to firearms. Right. How do you think this open carry legislation is going to affect that attitude toward guns?
I guess from a concern standpoint is law enforcement in general represents a community, the state or federal government from an authoritative position. We are provided with authority by law by those different entities. When a law enforcement officer arrives on a scene, I guess from a concern standpoint is when an officer shows up in uniform, carrying a sidearm, a badge, shows up in a marked patrol unit, is he going to be viewed as having the same authority as individuals, 3 or 4 individuals hypothetically speaking on scene, all of which are carrying sidearms? In order for law enforcement to continue to be successful and being able to do what we do for a living, that same authority is going to have to stay in play. I mean, the individuals that certainly have the license are going to have to continue to have the mindset that law enforcement does have that authority and still does have the ability to enforce the law. that would be somewhat of a concern.
Sure. And that certainly has to do with that civilian attitude when they see an openly carried firearm.
That's correct.
On a hip. Real quickly, I just want to touch there was an amendment that was placed on this bill about law enforcement having the ability to ask somebody they see open carrying
Right.
if they have the license to do that. That amendment got taken off. Law enforcement did not seem to like that. Why is it so important for law enforcement to be able to approach somebody who is openly carrying and say, hey, let me see that license?
I think that it's extremely important. The problem that I think or foresee that you could run into is that you could take individuals that don't qualify or have not obtained that license. They could very easily co-blend with the law-abiding citizens that have gone through the course, have obtained a license to carry. It needs to be used as probable cause for law enforcement to approach an individual and to confirm that from an enforcement standpoint, to be able to confirm that they do have that license.
Sure, so a confirmation.
That's correct. And from a proactive standpoint as well, in trying to prevent crimes from occurring.
Okay. Sheriff McCray, thank you so much for being with us, making the trip. We appreciate your perspective on this.
Thank you very much.